Hello Flosstube, my name is Mariam, my pronouns are she, her. You may know me as My Roomy Crafts on Instagram or My Roomy Designs on Etsy. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is a channel about cross stitch. I'm a cross stitcher and a cross stitch designer, and sometimes I talk about other crafty endeavors, but mostly my channel's focus is on cross stitch. Welcome. If you're new, welcome to my channel. As I said, we talk about crafty stuff, and roughly once a month I upload, sometimes more than once a month. It depends on what kind of designs I'm coming up with, if there is any special release that I would like to share more information about, more than what is usually shared on my Etsy, and also in the posts that I make about the design. Then I'll make a special episode. Other than that, I usually upload once a month. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I hope you have subscribed. If you have not, please hit the subscribe button, so that way when I upload a video it pops up on your feed. Also, please like and share the channel to whoever you think will enjoy it. Alright, so let's get it started. So I usually start my episode with talking about what's happening in the community. That can include anything crafty related, but also anything extra, because I'm all about craftivism, and is that crafting is a tool to connect us to the community, and also is a jumping start for us to be involved with our communities and be connected to one another, which means that a lot of social justice stuff comes up, a lot of activism that is embedded in crafting. So craftivism basically. Okay, so let's get it started. So what's happening in the community? So there is an event that is wrapping up and is Marathon for MMIW G2S, which is for murdered and missing and indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit people. And this has been happening in the past few years, and it's spearheaded with like a whole bunch of great Flosstubers and stitchers and designers, and I'm gonna list everyone below. So Erin to Martini Stitches, Rachel from Rachel Craft, Michelle from Michelle Bendy, who else? Jessie from Mislaid Pages. I apologize if I have forgotten anyone, but I think these are the main people, but there are other people that are involved in the event as well. So I'm going to link the page below. You can go and you can donate directly to the cause. You can also pay attention to the pages of people that I mentioned, and there are a lot of auctions happening, and you can actually go and bid and hopefully win something that you might like. Also, that way you can make a donation to the cause. Alright, so that's happening. You can find all the links below. Next, something that I talk about more, and I'm gonna not to stop talking about, is Palestine. So free Palestine. If you're not about that, this channel will not be for you. I always talk about that, and it's a cause that is near and dear to my heart. I have a freebie pattern that if you like to stitch something and maybe you don't have financial means to donate, you can stitch the pattern. All I can ask is to make sure that you share and you actually attach a reason why you're doing this. All of this for bringing attention to Palestine and the genocide that's ongoing and has been going on for decades at this point, and it's not something that is started in the past 6 months or 7 months. This has been going on for 75 years. So if you have not been aware of it, now is the time to study and also to jump in and be part of the movement, because Palestine's freedom is linked to all of our freedoms. And if you are struggling and you're part of a community that struggles right now in terms of rights and and social justice, if you look closely, you will notice that you can find the roots and similarities of this struggle to the struggle of Palestine. So yeah, all day, every day, free Palestine, ceasefire now. This is really important to make sure that we are keep talking about it until it happens. And for those who are tired of hearing about it, I have to tell you, maybe we are new to this struggle, but this is not as new a struggle. People have lived their whole entire life in this struggle, and it's most likely that it's not going to be resolved in our time, and we need to be prepared for it. And a lot of these struggles are living in hopes, and is basically working toward a better future for future generations to come. So even if we don't see the fruits of our labor, it's okay, as long as we are chipping away and taking steps and moving forward. So hopefully the next generation will have a better, more free, more just life and world. All right, enough about that. Other things that are happening in the Stitchy community. So along the lines of what I just mentioned about the struggle of Palestine, Stitchers Collective has a collection out that all the proceeds goes to Doctors Without Borders, which is one of the few organizations that are on the ground and helping Palestinians right now in both Gaza Strip and also in West Bank. I will leave the link below. You can go. You basically purchase the collection, and the proceeds, all the money that you pay is basically is a full donation to Doctors Without Borders. Alright, so that's through April. So you still have time to, if you're watching this and it still is April of 2024, you still have time to purchase the collection. Alright. Okay, next, what else is happening? So the other thing that happened that was like, it's a smaller scale. Let's come back to a smaller scale. So I'm part of a group that we call ourselves Quad City Needle Minders. It's me, Nitya from TheDigiStitchery, Sarah from Modcross, and Julie from Julie in Stitches 16. We're all like from Quad City. We got together in the Quad City area. So Sarah is in Iowa, and me and Nitya, we are in Illinois, and Julie is in Wisconsin. And we usually come together in the Quad City, which is Moline, around the city that Bestitchme is in. We met in person once, and we have been meeting once a month over Zoom ever since, and that's a way for us to connect and to stitch and to talk about various of things and to check in, basically. So the other thing that we do with the Quad City Needle Minders is we started recording some of our meetings. So some of our Zoom meetings are now recorded. I have an episode, Lemon to Lemonade, that I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about it, because the project that I talked about is, you have seen it in the thumbnail, is basically one of my finishes. So that's the project that I talked from lemon to lemonade. That's a special episode is on my channel, but then we recorded another one that is now up on Nitya's channel, TheDigiStitchery. She's linked below. Just go check it out and watch the episode. And we called it, what did we call it? I have it here. The Courage to Color Convert. So we talked all about color conversion, and all four of us are people who love to play with colors. And me and Sarah, we both are designers, so that's what we do anyway. But all four of us love to play with the colors and threads, both for fabric and for thread. And we change up a lot of things and color convert all the time. Sometimes something that is very close to what is called for, but we change the fabric and we change the thread. But we keep the spirit of the called for. But sometimes we go completely rogue and do our own combination, and we talked all about it in that episode. So I highly recommend go to Nitya's channel, watch that episode. It's a fun one. One last thing that's happening in the community is Elizabeth Savory. She is stitching Halloween in April. So similar to stitching Christmas in July, like having Christmas in July stitching, this is similar to that. So this is like halfway to Halloween. So it's spooky stitching, which is like hashtag spooky stitching for Halloween. So she is planning on stitching all things spooky and Halloween themed project in the month of April. So if you're into spooky stitching, if you're not for a spring, think about it. Do a spooky stitching in April, just similar to Christmas in July. All right, so Elizabeth is doing that. And I think that concludes what's happening in the community. All right, so let's talk about stitching. So first, let's talk about FFOs, fully finished objects. So I did have a FFO, start, finish, and fully finish. Sappho. And it's this project. So after I finished that, the project I'm going to show you in my finishes, I needed a palette cleanser, so I had this kit. It's a kit from Darling and Junebug and Darling, and it's a full kit. Everything, all the material was in the kit, except for the fabric. I switched the fabric. This included a 14 count white Aida that was stiff as a board. Not easy to stitch it. I actually tried to use it, but it's not. It wouldn't even, like, it couldn't even put it in the hoop. That's how stiff it was. So I switched to 16 count Rustico that I washed, pre-washed, so it was very soft. So I stitch on that instead. So this is a kit that I got. It was a Atit Kindness from the these 20 stitches. So they have this snail mail, sort of like a snail mail club or whatever they, I'm not sure what they call them. I think it's a snail mail club. Anyway, if you comment on their video, then they randomly pick, sometimes not always, pick someone from the comment section and then send them something. So I have been lucky a couple of times. So one of the times I received this kit as well. Okay. So yeah, so it's all like, and this will go to my office. So it was a staff. I think it took me 2 or 3 days to finish it. So not bad, right? All right, next, so that was my only FFO. Now, onto finishes. So, first thing that I finished since I recorded was my round robin project. So, a group of us, Wilderwomen Crafts, which is Tara, and Julie from Julie in a 16, and then Julie from Kansas City Girl in Colorado World, and me. We got together. We formed a group for round robin, but we went rogue, so we're not part of that bigger group that are doing this. We decided to stick together because we liked our group already, and we are stitching on various of fabrics. It's not even, we didn't even like coordinate or anything. Whatever we chose, that's what we are stitching on. And I had Julie from Kansas City Girl in Colorado World, her project. I had her project and I finished it, and it's I don't have it, so I already sent it to Julie. Julie in Stitches 16. So I already passed it on to the next person, so I don't have it, but this is what it looks like. Finished. And the project is Reflections of Scotland, and it's on 32 count Nicholas Flamel in Bronte Sisters, and it's stitched in Gloriana silk in Highland Garden. That thread is glorious. It's very beautiful. And it was a very enjoyable stitch. So I already finished that, passed it on. I don't have it anymore. Next, I went to my Lemon to Lemonade project that I talked about earlier in the first installment of Quad City Needleminders video. So in that video, I brought up this project as a project that I'm struggling with because I lost esteem basically. This was a project that I chose intentionally to stitch in very neutral colors. Let me show you the finish first. This is the finish. If you are familiar with the actual style, which looks like this, you can see that there is a huge difference, right? So this is almost a square. That one is a rectangle, it's longer. Yep. So yeah, so talking about the fabric and thread. So this is 18 count Ada in light coffee, and the thread is Sulky 12 weight, blendable in olive tree. So this green on tan is very soothing on the eyes. It doesn't have a lot of it doesn't create a lot of clash. It doesn't clash. It doesn't restrain your eyes. So I chose this intentionally as a break between other projects that I stitch on that are very colorful. But I ran out of steam. I stitch on, I think, up to May release, and this was a sale, so it was a mystery sale, and there was a monthly drops last year, and I ran out of steam. I didn't continue with it. And I didn't know what to do with it. So initially, based on the video, if you watch the first Quad Cities video, I decided to, there's a huge coat in the middle. I decided to finish the coat and just finish the project there. But then when I pulled it out to stitch on it, because we were getting closer to recording our second video, and our goal was to touch on the project before we actually record again. So I pulled it out to stitch on it, and I changed my mind. I said, well, I wasn't really invested in the coat in the middle. And there was another set of, so the coat was, if I'm not mistaken, the coat was underneath this row. So it was here. And I decided, because I was not very invested in that coat, to get rid of that. Also, there were another set of alphabet and numbers on the bottom, and I got rid of that too. And then I shortened it. I squished everything else in, and I got rid of two of the squares. There was a strawberry here in this corner, and a square that had initials and I think the date on it, and I got rid of those two. So then I was able to bring up the border, and I added my initials here instead. So yeah, this was supposed to be in this corner. I moved it to that, so now I was able to finish it. I'm actually pretty happy with how it looks now, and I'm thinking to fully finish it as a project bag, because this is a perfect size and shape to be a project bag now. So this will be the front panel, and then I will add a different fabric for the back. So yeah, so and the designer of this piece is Christy from PixelPixieXStitch, and I'm gonna link her down below so you can go and check her out. And the sale is over, but the pattern is available. So if you're like to stitch her pattern fully or partially. Also, another idea, if you're into like bookmarks, these make a very pretty bookmarks. And these bands also, you can make a bookmark out of them. You can just frame it with the border and create even thicker, like wider bookmark. Yeah. So yeah, so now this is like done. It's done. Next finish is a Stitch for Pride, which is a year-long sale designed by these 20 stitches, and it's a mystery, a spot sampler, or you can actually stitch each drop separately. So April's drop was in, which looks like this, and each of the drops are inspired by a queer artist. This time April's drop was inspired by the Kiss and Tell collective, which are either Canadian lesbian artists that mainly have like there are a lot of like information about it in the learning piece, and I especially enjoyed the excerpt and little pieces, little photos of their exhibition that they had, and it was all about basically creating a space and showcasing queer love, especially lesbian love, that is rarely like showcased. So it was like a collection of photos, and it was very interactive, so people had gone there and actually added notes and little doodles to the booklets, and created their own art, added their own commentary to it. So this is the whole sampler so far. So this was January, February, March, and now April here. I think this is the lowest part of this sampler. So this is like, there's no border, but you can say this is the edge of it. And then for May, we're moving here. We're moving up. The fabric is 36 count linen in Determination. This is hand dyed especially for this project by Jessie from Mislaid Pages. I don't know if they still have this in their shop or not, but even if they don't have this specific fabric in their shop, check out Jessie's shop. I'm going to link it down below. Their hand dyed fabric is to die for. This is the tamest fabric I have seen from them. They're usually very, very colorful and bold, but this one is very neutral for them. And then threads are called for threads, and these are a specific set of threads hand dyed by Jasmine from Knitting Nurse Jasmine, and she hand dyed this. She's usually a yarn dyer, but she made this specifically for this project, and I really hope that she continues dyeing threads, because look at that. And this color, it doesn't, like, my light is washing it out. This is very, very bright. So that's it. All the finishes, fully finishes and finishes are done. Now let's talk about whips, because I did more stitching in the past month. So first thing I stitched was Mother Moon, designed by Joan Elliott. this is my working copy. I actually have a book from Joan Elliott that has several designs, including Mother Moon and Father Sun. So I'm hoping to finish Mother Moon and then stitch Father Sun at some point as well. So I had the most pathetic start on this project when I picked it up, and then I started stitching on it, and now I'm not ashamed of it anymore. So this is where I am. So it's super sparkly. I wish if I could capture all this sparkle. So this design is full of beading, but I don't do beading. I don't like beading. Instead, I converted all the beading. I replaced all of that with Petit Treasure braid. So there is a lot of Kryneck in there, a lot of Petit Treasure braid in there. So it's super, super sparkly. I so love it. So the fabric is 18 count Wisteria from Mystic Fabric. Yeah. There's some fractional stitching in here, but mainly it's full crosses. Next is a project I'm actually stitching on still now. When I pick up any of these webs, and I'm focusing mainly on my older webs. And when I say older, I mean those projects that I started in 2022. And older. I don't think I have anything from 2021 because I was mainly monogamous stitcher in 2021. So all these projects that I'm calling older are from 2022. So I really want to move those along and get them to finish or very close to finish. So the next project that I picked up, and every time I pick up a project which I decided by the Tiny Decision app, I stitch on it for 10 days. So this is a project that I picked up and I stitched 3 days on it, so I have a full week to stitch on it. It's like a batik by Bella Filipina. This is gorgeous, right? And I am stitching it on 18 count opalescent Ada in a night sky Yennefer from Mystic Fabric. And this is where I am. I mean, because it's opalescent and the light is reflecting off of it, it looks just a little washed out. Just imagine it just a little more saturated than what you see here. But it's a pretty good representation. So when I started, I had I'm working on the busiest page of the pattern, which is most of her dress. So I added most of the yellow is what I started adding in since I picked it up again. So I'm hoping to have a page finish, so I finish all of this before I hit that 10 days. Look at her face. So you really don't need to stitch 1/1. I know some people when they stitch the fancy ladies, they do over 1 stitching for the face to get more definition. You really don't need to. And also you can stitch fancy ladies on Ada. You don't really need to be a linen stitcher to be able to stitch it either. So this is 18 count Ada, and she looks great, right? Look at her face. So I'm doing the same thing that I did with the Mother Moon. So I actually started with this the conversion, because one of the reasons why I was not picking up any fancy lady to stitch was the fact that I really don't like to bead. So I decided to experiment. So I changed all the beads. I replaced them all with Petit Treasure braid, and this is what it started all. So there's no beading here. I will be having easier time to frame it because there is no beading. It's all Petit Treasure braid, so I don't have to worry about framing it at all. And also to limitation of not being able to work with hoops when if you are beading as you go. I don't have any issue with that. I'm working page by page and I finish the whole thing, so I add all the cry neck and petite treasure braid and everything before I move on. So yeah, I still have another week to work on this. Next is what I was stitching on last night, so it still isn't a hoop. Is a Quaker Crow by Workbasket. Again, all of these are working copies. I never work from the actual pattern because I really don't like to mark or damage the actual pattern. In this case, it's because I actually collect Workbasket patterns, and these are out of print and now collectible, so I really don't want to damage them. But in other cases, the reason why I don't like to mark on my pattern is because I like to pass them on. So after I finish with them, I like to be able to pass them on. So I don't want to have any mark on it. So yeah, Quaker Crow. And I am stitching it on 18 count Ada by TheDigiStitchery in autumn. And this is a printed fabric. So you can see the back is white and then it's only on one side. And I'm using one thread. I know it's like not a great coverage, but that's intentional. I actually like this look for this specific pattern. It gives it a prim look, and it's like fitting with the type of design, the quirky look of it. It actually is very fitting. So this is Threadworks in Lava Rocks, and the number is 11212. So yeah, one thread of Threadworks. Okay, so that's all of my webs, but that's not all I stitched on this past month. I had two starts. One is a model and the other one is a project. So let's talk about the model first. So for the spring equinox, which we call Nowruz, it's a major Persian holiday. It's the beginning of Persian calendar year, and it's a whole celebration of rebirth of life, rebirth of nature, basically. It's celebrating Mother Nature coming back to life after long winter. So I designed Bahar. She looks like this. As you see, this is inspired by a specific type of Bakhtiyari, which Bakhtiyaris are a nomadic tribe in Iran, and they have a specific type of hand-made rugs. And this is a special type of those rugs that are like portrait. So you see them, it's one gigantic person in the middle, and then there are botanical elements or animal elements around them, surrounding that one center portrait. So I was inspired by that, and I designed Bahar, and I decided to start it. So originally I was thinking about stitching it on a lighter fabric. However, also I really was tempted to stitch it on what is very close to what would the original rug look like. So there are a lot of rugs that are made to have that background, so they're very red. So I wanted to originally go close to that color, but I didn't want to go full on like red, right? So instead I looked in my stash and I picked 36 count Edinburgh linen in, is it terracotta? Yeah, it's terracotta. And this is my start. I'm stitching 2 over 2 and I'm using the call for because this is supposed to be the model, so I'm gonna stick to my own call for. And this is the color palette. So right, and this goes on this. I know some of the colors will look like they're not gonna pop, but that doesn't matter because almost everything is framed in this color, which is now I like this more than 310. I'm a huge fan of 310 because the pop of color that it creates. However, when it comes to rug inspired motifs and designs, I'm now leaning toward this, which is this the very dark brown. It's 3371 in DMC. Now, as you can see, it's almost black, but it's not very. It's very dark brown. This gives the look of a rug that is being used. So after years of using, also even if in nature, when you dye natural fibers with natural dyes, you never get that jet black, like very dark black color. It's always off a little bit. So it's either a very dark red, very dark green, very dark brown, or very dark blue, or even gray, but not very black. So this gives me that look, of like a naturally dyed fiber that is usually used in rug making. So I'm a huge fan of this. And then this now is my new favorite blue. It's $7.92. I love this on this color. Look at that. I so love this. Yeah, so yeah. So I started the stitching Bahar. I didn't go that far because, you know, I was distracted. And also because the pattern is already released. So at some point when I finish the model, I will add the photo to the listing, but I'm not in a rush because I already released the pattern. And it's available in my Etsy, and my Etsy shop is linked below. The last start that I had was for the last day of March, which was Trans Day of Visibility. So these, I mean, I know I have mentioned them so many times in this video, but I don't know, I love their designs and I love what they do. So they released a one-day, a special, very limited edition pattern on their Kofi to basically raise money for their gender affirming surgery that is coming up this summer. So of course, is a no-brainer, especially if you actually see what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And it is called Know Thyself, right? It's such a beautiful pattern. I loved all the sentiment behind it and the importance of it. I know it's the inspiration came from a dream that they had, and it does have that dream quality, and it's very beautiful. So of course I purchased it and I kitted up immediately, but as per usual, I'm doing my own thing when it comes to the colors. So let me show you. So for fabric, I'm actually stitching on 20 count Lugana 1/1, and it's called Deep Blue. Yeah, Deep Blue. and it's not going to show accurately in my light. And I'm telling you now, because I know I'm having the hardest time taking photos of this fabric, because for some reason my light and my camera will not capture it correctly. This is the closest I have come to the actual color. Yeah. And this is what I have stitched so far from, no, wait a minute. It's this way. Yeah. So this is what I have so far from page 1. This is an eye. So I stitched all the white, and then I added did I add the orange? Yeah, I add the burnt orange one, and then now I'm adding the blue. Let me show you the threads, and I'm using Sulky 12 weight, and let me show you my color palette. That old design that you saw only takes 5 colors. And these are my 5 colors. So far I have stitched, this is the off-white that I chose. This is the burnt orange that I already added to the page 1. And now I'm adding the blue. And I have these two as well. So yeah, so if you're curious about the numbers, the numbers of the colors, this is 1071, this is 1181, this is my favorite color in Sulky, which is 1189, then this one is 1834, and this one is 1205. And that's all my whips and the starts, so no more stitching. Okay, so let's talk about plans. In terms of designing, so we're fast approaching a month of June, which is Pride Month, and I do have a collection of like a set of designs that are coming up for that month. Ideally, I really want to model a stitch it, but I am so distracted by all the other projects and also other things that I want to design. So we'll see if I ever actually model a stitch it or just release it. We'll see. And then also I'm planning on designing at least 2 more patterns in the coming month. I just concluded in the past month, I concluded my Sal from Yaldo to Noru Sal, which was like a band sampler, and now that pattern is released on my as a pattern on my Etsy. So if you're interested, or if you missed on purchasing it when it was a Sal, now it's available. You can purchase it. And just so you know, you're aware, at the time of release as a sampler, I was providing bonus bands. I provided a few bonus bands and a bonus frame for those who want to only stitch 1 band or a few bands and want to have alternative way of alternatives for different bands. Now I'm offering that as a separate packet on my Etsy shop. So you can find from Yaldo to Noru's the main design, which includes all the first option bands as options, and also a separate listing for from Yaldo to Noru's bonus, which includes all those 4 extra bands plus that 1 extra frame for that individual band. So you can plug any band in that frame and have a separate pattern. And it's a monochrome pattern as per usual. It's pretty big compared to a lot of my designs. But the bonus is there are so many ways that you can actually stitch that. If you're not interested in stitching the whole thing, that's fine. There are others like Nitya from TheDigiStitchery. She is very creative. So what she is doing is she's actually stitching them individually as bookmarkers. So here's an idea. Also, you can combine a couple of bands together and you can turn them into drums. So here's another idea. So if you're not into stitching the whole thing, that's completely fine. Just look at it as like a collection of bands that you can utilize in different ways and stitch in different ways. Okay, so that's, again, it's listed in my Etsy shop now. So in coming month, I'm hoping to release at least 2 other designs, and then for June we're gonna have the Pride packet, and then I will be gone for the majority of the July. But I'm hoping to have another release by the end of July. So we'll see how that goes. You know, I really don't like to have everything very set. I rarely have like releases that are very set in stone in terms of when I want them to be released. You know, birthday releases are set usually, and also I have like a few occasions during the year that I usually have something that I release. So one is Pride month that is coming. I also want to continue stitching on my Lekapati for the coming 7 days. Hopefully I'll be able to have a page finish. If I'm really good, we'll see, but I'm gonna really aim for that page finish. I really like to finish the whole bodice before I move on. And then the next thing that I want to pick up is Stitch in Time, which is it was my unicorn pattern that I got, and it's my goal to stitch on it more based on the last or most recent Quad Needle Reminder video. So that was a project that I chose to focus on before the next time that we record. Shoutouts, and then we're going to talk about shoutouts, and then we're going to talk about Stitchy Kindness, and then investment, and we're going to wrap it up. So shoutouts, I only have one channel to shout out this time, and this is a new to me channel. Also, it's a new in general channel. They only have one video. I thought they had more, but I only see one listed now video on their channel. They're hilarious. Caroline and Elizabeth from Thread Gremlins. Oh my god, they're hilarious. So be careful if you're drinking something and your stitching stuff is around you. You might spill some drink, whatever it is you're drinking, on your work, on your project. So be very careful. But they're hilarious, and I love their banter. The chemistry is spot on. Very enjoyable watch. I hope that they come back. Their last video, the only video on their channel, was from a month ago, so I really hope that they come back soon and they record another video. I'm gonna link them below. Give them a watch, subscribe, encourage them to come back and record another video. Alright, next let's talk about Stitchy Kindness. I have received a lot of Stitchy Kindness in the past month, so it's been a really great month. So earlier in the past month, it was Sarah Motcross, her birthday, and Nitya joined her sister and Sarah's sister and mother in surprising her, and they took her to a whole day of I think couple days, a whole weekend of Stitchy Goodness. So it's sort of like a mini retreat for her, and they hang out, they stitched, and they actually went to Bestitchme, which is a shop that is actually very closer to it is closer to Sarah compared to me. I've never been to Bestitchme. That's one of the shops that I really want to go. And so for the spring equinox, one of the traditions that we have in Iran is you gift your friends something. So I decided to kit up Bahar for all four of us. So I told, I knew that Nitya was going to surprise Sarah, and then they both will be going to Bestitchme as a surprise. So I told her to pick up a fabric for all of us to be able to stitch Bahar on. And then I send them all the PDF for the pattern, and then send them the threads as well. So kitted up basically the project. So Nitya picked up a fabric for all of us, and so I do have that fabric. So yes, I'm on a no-buy, but the exception for my no-buy is if I am getting anything for my model. So I bought this originally. I was intending to stitch my model on it, but then I ended up using terracotta instead of this. But you know, it's not gonna go to waste. So at some other point, I'm gonna stitch on it. But that was not my intention. I actually wanted to show this later. My intention was to show you that Sarah, the kind Sarah, it was her birthday, but she decided to gift us with fabric. So she basically bought Nitya a piece, send a piece to me, and send a piece to Julie as well. So this is a piece that I ended up with, which is a 20 count Ada in Haunted, and this is gorgeous, right up my alley. I mean, Sarah knows I love colors, and this is very beautiful. Colors like this, I actually like treat these like my neutrals, because this is blue and green, and almost any color will look good on these, so I treat these mainly as neutral colors. So yeah, so 20 count Ada, and thank you, Sarah. This was very generous. It was you were supposed to be the one who would get treated and, you know, get pampered, but you know, you gave us a gift as well. So thank you. Also, Julie from Julie in the Stitches 16 sent me a bag. Ooh, has lemons on it. So this was after we recorded our video, and there's some goodies in it. So there is a needle minder, a lemon needle minder, and it's lemon themed. So, and then Threadworks. It's washed out. It's more lemony than this, but yeah, lemony colors. And then the Gentle Art Lemon Drops. Again, yellow. Actually, these will look good on this, right? And also, so the last time we met, I said that we met in Quad City. So we got together, and she actually turned one of the photos into magnet for us. The four of us. This is such a precious gift. So thank you, Julie. This was very kind. Also, it included a nice note. Let me show you the card. So cute. Then, many of you know that I love some bold colors when it comes to fabrics. I'm not afraid of using very bold colors at all, and I use them often. So banana oil Christy is one of, I'm gonna link her Etsy shop below, one of the most talented fabric dyers out there. She comes up with unique fabric, and this is the key. Her fabrics are unique. So if you look at her shop and you like a piece, get it. Don't wait, get it. Because if it's gone, most likely it will be gone. Whatever the fabric will look like, whatever it is in the shop, that's what it is. You're not gonna get it again. So I'm on a no buy, and I've been eyeing these couple of pieces that she had in her shop over and over, and I was like, I kept going back to it. I kept going back to it. And at the end, I had a moment of weakness. So I broke down and I purchased 2 pieces. Now, why am I not telling you this is an investment and I'm putting it under a Stitch of Kindness? Because Amazing Christy knew that I was on a no buy. So what does she do? She refunded me the amount that I paid for her fabrics. She messaged me to let me know that it's not a mistake, that she actually has refunded me, but will still send me the fabrics because she wants me to have them because I like them, but she does understand that sometimes we break down and we break our own no-buys. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Christy, you're amazing. Now let me show you the amazing fabrics that broke me down. I'm gonna keep the most amazing one second. So I'm gonna show you the first one, which is still amazing, but it's not as amazing as the other piece. So this is 36 count linen. Y'all ready? Right? It's amazing. What was this called? I don't remember. Something rainbow. I do love it. And I love, I'm a huge fan of this strong modeling. So, yes, for that. Okay. Now the second one, which is, I have to say, is perfect for a fancy lady. Let me show you. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm especially in awe of this half. Can you hear our neighbor's dog? Oh my god, they never shut up. Amazing! So yeah, gorgeous! That was my Stitch of Kindness. Now, I only have subscription for a couple of things. One is the Just Cross Stitch magazine. So I got my summer 2024, and there are a few things, but mainly I'm interested in this. So these are this is like a stitch along kind of situation. So each you're gonna have to buy, I think, 3 or 4 of the magazines to be able to get the whole pattern. This, like a bookmark, it's very easy and repetitive. It's just playing with different colors. And I love this. Water lilies. This is so beautiful. It's by, who designed this? Elizabeth Spurlock from Saving Grace's Fun Needle Arts. It's gorgeous, very, very beautiful, and it's what is the size? It's 130 by 85, so it's not that bad. It's not huge. Also, let's think about it. This, right? What do you think? No? Is this too busy for this? I think so, right? Maybe. I think the tone of the green is very close to the tone. I have to take a black and white photo, but I think it's not going to be the best choice. But I do have light blue fabric. I can do that. Lastly, the other subscription that I have is Mislaid Silk. So this is, was this March? April? I think April. So, the green. And it's variegated. It's tonal variegation in it. And these are hank of 120 yard. Okay. Oh, hold on. I forgot something. I'm back. So I forgot something. I actually did something else other than stitching. I dyed some fabric. But it's just, I just got them from the rack and they don't, they're not ironed yet. So this is 22 count Ada, and I red dyed it. It has shrunken a bit, I mean a good bit, because when I cut the fabric originally, this was almost a fat quarter, but this is not a fat quarter now. It's much smaller than that. So yeah, it used to be 22 count, but I think maybe it's 25 count now, or something similar to that. And this is the second piece. Again, these are not pressed. They should be pressed. And they still have all the hanging threads, so I have to cut all of those. I've not done that yet. But yeah, I like this side better. So yeah, I just played a little bit with the dye, because I have this whole bunch of like white 22 count, and I wanted to play with it. I think this will be a good good blue to use for that, for this pattern, for the pond pattern. Let me bring it up again. For this, right? Yeah, I think this will be a good fit for this. So that's a possibility. Alright, that is it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope that as much or as little stitching as you do is enjoyable for you, and also I'm hoping that you use your voice for good, and you advocate for those who need advocating for, and be an active member of the community, meaning that you are doing, you're actively involved in actions that will better the life of our community members. May it be our small community, our family, our friends, our cities, our country, or the human beings that are our siblings in humanity. So yeah, keep speaking about Palestine, and I'm hoping for a better future, and I'm hoping for brighter days to come. All right. Happy stitching, everyone. Bye.